would like to introduce some of our Kansas Reading Roadmap project leads. We've got Melanie Marcy from Victor and Ellis Elementary School, Lindsay Scholl from A. Pubert Elementary School, and Fernando Alvarez from Buffalo Jones Elementary School, and they'll be helping with the presentation tonight.
Welcome.
On this first slide, I just want to stress that the goal of Kansas Reading Roadmap is to support struggling readers, especially those in third grade. But the goal is to support the struggling readers in our elementary schools that have KRR. Also to close the achievement gap between the lowest performing students and those that are performing at grade level. One interesting fact about Garden City is that we're the only school district that allows fourth grade. They've allowed fourth graders to participate in Kansas Reading Roadmap. So that is unique to Garden City as well. And I'll let Lindsay talk about in school. I think she has an activity for you to do tonight.
He's like, am I really doing
Yes,
this?
they do in their session. I'll lay these down and then I'll say this. Anyone else want to do it?
Remember, he's not working, so you can't tell him.
Oh gosh, where am I going? Okay, so while I'm doing this, for the in-school part, we follow the MTSS, multi-tiered system of support, to recruit our students. That's how we identify who needs to be in the program. And so just like the interventions do, we try to get as closely aligned to what they're doing during the day. We want to give them that same skill at the end of the day. So when we're doing those skills in after-school program, something that's important that I think KRR just like makes it so unique is how we try to do really innovative things with them. When I had my interview, they said we don't use pencils, and so we try to make it really fun. It's still doing interventions, but the interventions we try to add a little pizzazz, I guess. So for example, we have these words I put down on our volunteers. And if we were going over long A, so we would talk to the students and we would tell them the difference between long A and short A. Cat would be short, and then a long A would be scrape or fate. And so we give them mirrors, and they look in the mirror, and they look how their mouth changes. But then when we think they have it down, do you know the difference between cat and scrape? And then we would say, pick up your hand swatters. Can you pick up your hand? So we would say, okay, we'd call a word cap. Scrap.
Slap the word? Is that what
Yep, slap the word. Fate. Break. Long. Good, you're paying attention. So then if we're not going over an A, because sometimes the students will slap it, and it's not even a letter we're going over, and that way we know, hey, we know that you're really listening and you're really trying. Or if it's too difficult, we'll say, find the letter that has the A sound or the A sound. Or do you see a letter with an I or a word with an I? So we just try to make it fun. We do sandboxes. We'll draw in the sand. Play-Doh. Flashlights, we'll turn the lights off and they're reading, and they read with flashlights. I brought a lot of materials, but we just try to make it as exciting as possible just so they can change it up from the normal school day. And yes, and then one more thing. So that is whenever we do what you guys call interventions, we call it ISR, which is individualized structured reading, and that would be their intervention. So these students are getting an additional intervention every single day, Monday through Thursday. on top of what they're already receiving in school. And then, in addition to that, we also have a healthy kids portion and a vocabulary portion. So a lot of people say that it's a lot of playing going on. Well, yes, we do. We do have healthy kids. And I tell parents right away, your kids are going to come home and say, you're going to ask what they did. They're going to say, we played. And they did. They played in PE because they all need the extra recess and they all deserve that extra energy. And they played in their intervention with their hand swatters or their Play-Doh to make the words, or digging into sandbags to write the letters. So they get a snack after school. And did I cover it? That's AfterSchool Program.
Awesome.
So how long are they there?
So they're there for an hour and a half, and they have 3 rotations. So that would be their individualized structured reading, their intervention. Then they have healthy kids, and then they have a structured vocabulary rotation. In that rotation, we're going over vocabulary words. We have a giant word wall, and they go over the same words, even if they read that book 3 weeks ago. They go over those words until the class has mastered the word, and then that word gets moved off the wall. But that's the way they have their repetition. They're always learning new words. And that would be the 3rd. So they have 3, an hour and a half.
And it starts with the snack. So
Yeah.
they're there a little bit longer than that because they have like probably 25 minutes between the time they're out of school and when we start.
Yes.
I have a question.
Okay.
Can you help a non-educator understand the link between kids' reading skills or reading levels and their writing skills, writing levels? Are those taught independently? Are they linked in some way that I don't understand? Do we spend time with the writing?
Yeah, the best practice, it proves that it goes hand in hand. And when you don't isolate the skills, students learn and perform better. So the reading and writing go hand in hand. So whenever the opportunity is available, we'll do it together.
And yeah, for example, when we do it together here, when they're learning the A and the A sounds with those words, then later on we will have them write them. We ask them to write it, so they're still writing them. They're learning to read it, and then they learn to write it. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, I was curious whether or not as kids progress through their education, if there can be circumstances where their reading skills can far supersede their writing skills. I've received a question about our active education for writing skills, and I wasn't even able to understand. I thought, well, it kind of goes with reading. I don't remember being taught to write, except cursive.
Yeah, we usually try to make sure it's correlated so that we're doing it. Usually, if you can see, an example would be like a 1st grade student, you can read their writing to understand how they're reading. So if they are not writing and they're leaving off endings or they're not hearing certain vowel sounds, you will probably see that as they're learning to read. So they go hand in hand. There are exceptions where a student may exceed in one or the other, but usually if they're struggling, you can see it in their writing because they're not writing what they're hearing or reading, if that makes sense. We've got another component of KRR, which is the LIFE program.
Well, I really like the LIFE program because it's a way to involve families in education, the kids. One of the things that really schools struggle is to involve the whole family in their child's education. So the LIFE gives us the opportunity to do that. And there is 3 components that we see in LIFE. That is family dynamics, where we provide a meal, and we sit the family in a table to talk, and while they eat. Also, we do a true listening, to listen to the kids, and you have a map in there that is also we have a child play. It's a game led by the kid, and Also, we have a support. We have a parent group. We also have family gifts. Each family receive a basket of gifts, with literacy, books, and with all type of things. They really help the parents to get some activities at home. And also we have the literacy part that has a young authors, family read aloud together, and also we have a book cycle with the kids. But I want to show you what do I do in live program and in attune listening, okay? You all know what is this, right? Okay. Well, the word attune is like everyone has their single sound, just like the guitar. Just pretend that this is a family. Each string has their own particular sound. To create a melody, a harmony, you have to really have all the strings in the circle note. So this is the kid. See? This is the dad. This is the mom. Yeah? And these are the other kids. See? The whole family is here. So, for example, the little kid comes. Say, Dad, 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 I want to tell you something. And then the dad says, I don't have time for you right now. And he's like, you don't know how tired I am. And then the kid starts saying like, I was really happy to tell you this. And then the mom says, you have to be so rude with your son. And then mom starts raising the voice again. I don't know, the kids only want to see you, only to tell you something for you, and you don't have time for it. I'm not going to cook you dinner tonight. And then the older boy, say, no dinner today? No, no dinner tonight. So now the family is on tune, and you want to get melody or harmony, there's nothing. So has to start with something. Something has to tune themselves because everyone has a particular style. Who was the first one who started like raising the tune? Becoming someone that don't supposed to be because the family needs to listen to that. So was the dad. So then the dad start thinking, and say, yeah, maybe I got it wrong. Maybe I really need to just give some time to my kid. And then he talked to the mother. And then he goes to the kid and say, hey, look, I'm sorry to not give you time. I'm sorry that I talked to you like that. Thank you, Daddy. Really, I was so happy to tell you what happened for me in the school today. Yeah, I got a prize for my teacher because I did so good. And then the dad said, oh, how excited. I'm happy for you. See? He's tuning with the kid. And then the mom starts tuning back again, and say, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of what you did. This is the man that I'm married to. I'm happy that you did that. See how happy is your son now, your kid now? See, and then I'm going to cook you a steak tonight. Yeah? And then the other boy, the one who was kind of sad, he says, and then he says, steak. And then the family is tuned again. We are a happy family. We sing all night long. Because we are happy, we communicate. See? And now, so families, they are a particular sound. And that's what we teach in attune listening. And now you don't expect this because a kid come to you, you don't expect anything. I want you to see each other. Okay? Come on. See each other. Okay? And you don't expect this. But you're going to tell the other person, and this is the attune listening. Someone is going to tell something, and the other one is just going to listen. You're going to tell something that excites you, something that makes you happy. Okay? Are you going to help me with this? You don't expect this, but you have to tune yourself for what the other person is telling you. Okay? Ready? We only got 30 seconds for this. Okay? Something that excites you.
We
Okay?
are so serious too, so
Okay.
You gotta partner
Okay,
up.
Okay, ready? Punch it back sides. You, okay? Partner up. Come on.
Just
One
30
will be the
seconds.
top
30
person,
seconds.
one
Time
will be
now.
the listener.
And then you
Your time starts now.
one only listen and the other one speak. Okay, that's it.
That was about 15 seconds, okay?
Well, 15 seconds. We usually give 2 minutes to families. But the trick with the challenge in this is that only one person speak. The other person don't say anything during 2 minutes. What they do in those 2 minutes, the silence of that person is concentrating what the other person is saying. But also is assimilating their emotions, how they're feeling. If what they are telling them excites them or make them sad or scared, you know, because it's so different to hear than to listen. So we teach these families to attune themselves to listen to their kids. Not only the information that they're given, but also the emotions. And that's what the emotions that we teach every Tuesday for 8 weeks. At the end, we graduate families from the Life program every semester, about an average of 8-10 families. So, but there you have a map of what we do in the Life program. Okay? Thank you.
That's great.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So is it 8 to 10 people at each school that you serve?
8 families.
Or all together?
Uh,
8 per school, there's 8 families per school.
Per school, yeah.
For 8 weeks.
Okay, and do you run the life program at every school or
No,
just your
I just
school?
run in Buffalo Jones.
At your school?
Yeah, every KR program coordinator runs their own life program in their school. It's a part of the whole life program in that particular school.
So the person runs all the different areas, or you have one coordinator for the life program and then one for the after-school program?
No.
We run it all.
Yeah, we run it all.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah,
Just
whatever
wanted
she
to
says in the after school, I run that in Buffalo Jones too. But
Okay.
I just got this
Is that-
part there. Yeah,
Yeah.
in life.
And that's why we were missing 2 people tonight, because they have the life program that they're running,
Right,
so.
thank you,
Thank you. We have Summer.
And I'm Summer. So for the summer program, we run it kind of like a day camp. And so we want it to be fun because the whole purpose is for them not to fall into the summer slide. So we have themes. This year, our theme is pirates. So I'm dressed as a pirate. So we follow the same guidelines as they do for after school. The difference is it's going to be the whole month of June. So it's the first or 4 full weeks of June. I think it's the 4th to the 28th of June. I'm not sure. But it runs Monday through Friday, which is different than after school. After school, we don't do we don't do Fridays. For summer, we start out at 8:30 in the morning and we go into 1:30 in the afternoon. We provide lunch for them. And I'm not sure if we're providing breakfast. I haven't heard this year. Most times we do provide breakfast. I'm just not sure yet. We will have the SRIV, which is the read aloud, where they work on, the teacher reads the story and they go over the vocabulary words, which is what Lindsay was talking about with the vocabulary. We have the ISR, where they're doing phonics, or they might be doing fluency, which is the OMR, and they're working on gaining speed and not the phonics part, because they've got that part down. They work on, they still have the PE portion, but the thing that we do in the summer is we add math. So we have 2 rotations of math. So kids that are struggling with math get some math help in the summer. Then in the afternoon, we have an hour of either community service, STEM, crafts, and what's the other one?
Community service, STEM. What is it?
Community service. man.
Community service,
It's just STEM and
STEM. I'm thinking there's something else. Okay.
team building, like they
Team,
always.
and then, yeah, then we also have team building in the morning, so they get together in the cafeteria, at least in my building. We get together in the gym, and we do team building exercises. They have competitions all week, and then the team that wins gets to dress as a pirate or whatever we do for that year. There's something that I
Field
forgot.
trips.
Well, and then Fridays we have
Okay.
field trips. So that's their reward for the week, for being there all day, for 8:30 to 1, Monday through Thursday. On Fridays, we get to do field trips. So this is just some pictures of some things that we did last summer. Of course, the popular one is always Parrot Cove. So, any questions? Yes?
How many kids are you able to have in the summer?
It depends on the school, how many that were budgeted for. And in the past, we've had extra funds so we could pick up more. But I usually have, I think, 80 in the summer. So it's kindergarten through 4th grade. So, yeah,
Yeah, I have the same TA, 82.
Yeah.
I have 60.
yeah. And I think Gertrude Walker has about 80 or so. So,
For 4 weeks.
yes, 4 weeks. So we got to make it fun for them to be
School
there.
in the summer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and my kids are still coming to me now saying, am I doing summer school this year? So they're really excited because summer school is a lot of fun. It's more enjoyable because we get to do more things with them. So
How is attendance in the summer?
it's not too bad. The first year that we did it, it was actually 6 weeks. We did great until 4th of July week, and then we had that week off, and then attendance really dropped those last 2 weeks. So it's kind of hit and miss. But for the most part, we have really good attendance. Yeah.
We always try to do, in the morning we do all the literacy and math, and then after lunch we do activity, team building, community
Legos.
service,
It's
and
Legos.
Legos and fun activities.
Like-
It's team activities where kids enjoy a lot.
And we incentivize attendance also.
Yeah.
So they'll get, if they earn a certain amount of stickers or however, every school does it different.
Yeah.
They'll get good incentives, a free book. for-
Yeah. We're always giving out free books. So.
Jean?
What kind of information do you have on the games that children might have in the fall after being in these programs? Or
We have some of that coming in one of our slides, actually it's the final one. So, just to review that there are 5 schools in our district participating in the KRR program. These are the 5 schools that currently have KRR. And then here is some data to support some of the gains that have been made through KRR. And this data is last year's data, which was year 2 of KRR in our district. And this was compiled by KRR. So you'll notice that it's kind of hard to read, but I think you have it in front of you as well. We're targeting the tier 2 and 3 students. Like Crystal said earlier, those are the kids that are struggling with reading. So those are the kids that we're targeting, and we've got 69% of the kids attending KRR that are tier 2 and 3. 18% of the school that qualified is what they're able to support in an after-school program. You'll notice here also students that are moving from tier 2 and 3 up to tier 1 as well. So that's just information, interesting information to look at. There's lots of variables in this data as well, which we're continuing to dig into. One thing that you might notice is overall the gains with the KRR students compared to the students that are not in KRR, just overall. One thing to consider is the kids in tier 2 and 3 that KRR serves are the lowest of the tier 2 and 3 students. So you may not see the growth as quickly in those students as you would in the tier 2 students that are just about getting to tier 1. They're not attending KRR. They're staying in their core classrooms, but they're moving quicker to tier 1 because they don't need the support, the intensive support that KRR provides. So that right here would explain some of this data down here. And like I said, there's just a lot of variables that we're digging into all the time to support KRR and how those numbers compare to our district numbers as well. Same over here. You'll notice that kids in Tier 3 will transition 5 times quicker than the non-KRR students out of Tier 3. But also, looking at some of those variables, you'll notice that those numbers aren't consistent fall to spring. So for example, one school received lots of additional Tier 3 students later in the year that's not shown in the fall data. So it might appear that they have more Tier 3 students. But again, there's so many variables in this data that we look at this, we compare it to our school data. This is gonna be year 3 of our KRR program, so we're gonna dig deeper into the data and figure out why some schools might be performing higher. Is it because of the way the data was submitted? Is it something that they're actually doing different in buildings? Looking at all those variables and figuring out how we can continue to run the best after-school program with the money provided through this grant. Do you have questions?
Questions?
About KRR or any of the programs that our directors here? Another sing-along, maybe?
I've got a number of questions myself, just that's from the excitement of what you've presented. But I don't know how to ask them, it's just really side notes. But I do want to ask, okay, we've got 6 schools that are blessed with this.
5.
Oh, I'm sorry, 5. Yeah, 5 schools. And we're a 3rd year in, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're learning, because from what I heard earlier, you started out with 6 weeks, maybe the summer, and that wasn't quite right. Where are we going with this? I mean, what are you hoping for? Or, I mean, there's all kinds of dreams I could see that would spin out of this thing. Even data, we're hoping that the data will confirm some things that you just got to anticipate will happen with these Tier 2 and Tier 3 kids. So I got to ask that question. What's the dreaming here?
I guess just been well, I know it started with like a 3 in the first year, and this is the 3rd year, but it grew from 3 KRR schools to over 60. They're rapidly adding KRR all over Kansas, and it's the Department of Children and Families who fund it, and I know that their goal is to, they've seen the Kansas reading scores, and I know the overall goal is to get them up as fast as possible.
I'm sorry, who's funding it?
Department of Children and Families.
Yeah, in the 3 years that we have it in Buffalo Jones, I remember the first year that I started working there. So we had a kind of little challenges in front of us, but particularly this year, we started in last semester, and the last semester of last year, we started all kids in phonics. We didn't have any fluency kids. All kids were in receiving phonics.
Yeah.
And at the end of the semester, I got maybe 85% of those kids in fluency already at the end of the semester.
Yeah, like for me, I have 41 kids that are working just on fluency. And these were kids that were doing phonics that weren't able to sound out the words. They've gone to the fluency. So, I mean, there's gains, but it's just different. We want them to get the words down and then to become fluent readers. So.
And the program is not mandatory too. So if a parent chooses not to put a kid in KR, so that kid is not going to be in KR.
Yeah.
So, but all those parents who really are willing to put the kids in KR, so they really see the success of their kids.
And what has been your parent response? I love what you did with your demonstration, and I think it's so pertinent, and sometimes you think it's so basic, but just paying attention and listening to your kids is actually a big deal. So what has been the response from parents, do you feel?
Oh my gosh. For the live program, it's amazing. You bring families and they're hesitant, like, why are you asking me to come to this 2.5 hours? I just say, just come the first night. It's a free meal. You're going to go home with full bellies, and you don't have to cook, you don't have to clean up, and we're going to play, and if you like it, come back. And I've never had somebody leave like having a bad day. And they'll bring the fathers and the older brothers and sisters, and
And every single day you see the kids, is there live today?
I
Is there
know.
live today?
I had one ask me before I left,
Yeah.
do we have live tonight? No, it's not Tuesday. So
Yeah,
and
'cause-
the kids love it because one of the things about the games that they play, the kids make up the games. We give them games and they're in charge. They're telling their parents, these are the rules tonight. This is how we're going to play the game. And gives them an opportunity to have one-on-one time with their parent. They get their undivided attention. So it's great.
What I do to also is using the games that they play at PE in school, and they teach those games, activity games to the parents at night. So they use the same game that they do with the PE teacher, they do it with their parents. Like, I don't know, dodgeball? So it's fun to watch them doing that. And yeah, the parents really, the kids really are like, they really enjoy that. So.
And a huge focus is gratitude. We talk about what gratitude means and what it means to affirm people and give people positive affirmations. And at the end of every single night, every life program is required to have every single person say something that they're grateful for and affirm someone. And it's amazing that the kids will affirm people like, I like your family. It'll be so cute. Or they'll say every single person says something they're grateful for, and it.
Yeah, but also we have added to the live. We have the Friends for Life that we get together with all those families have been in the program to one time every semester. So we do a big activity, a big celebration with all those families who have been already. Graduated to the program, yeah, and we motivate this long-lasting friendship between the families and the kids.
That's phenomenal. I can't help but think, okay, wow, I wonder if the rest of the schools would like to have this kind of program, and then what it would take, what it would cost.
If I could just add just a little bit, because you're going down a path that I think is an interesting thing. I know before, I don't know if we still are the largest program that KRR had in a school district. Are we still?
Great Bend.
They just added one in Deerfield. I know that's not our district, but Great Bend might be. But
Great Bend, I think, just has 3.
Okay. At one point, I know we were the largest number of schools and the largest participation that they had in any district. We were their largest program. And to run this program for just the 5 buildings for the months that we do, the grant funding that we receive is anywhere, I can't remember the exact number, I want to say it's about $730,000, $750,000. So each school is given a budget, 100, 150, kind of depending on the number of students that they think they're going to be able to have. So it's a very expensive program. We're very lucky that we have this grant. They mentioned that we are I think we might be the only one that has 4th grade. And the reason that we have 4th grade is because that was something our district wanted. That's not part of the program, but so what we did was the district, basically we agreed with KRR, they won't pay for transportation, which they normally do. They pay for that bus transportation home for those late kiddos because they're obviously getting home much later. The district picks up that cost for all those kids during the year in exchange for having 4th grade. So we have a little bit of an investment, but not near as much as that $750,000 is. So it's a sizable grant, and these guys do a really good job of keeping track of all the things that they need to keep track of. So.
Well, he's got all components too. He's got not only great leadership, that's obvious, but also the funding, and then the data collection, and so that it's very usable. I would think for us, even if the grant goes away, there's something there for us to evaluate on. Well, if we're going to keep this going, cost benefit, and some data behind that too. So it's wonderful. It's expensive, but it's scaffolding, as you put it. It's what the kids clearly need, and I think it'll be exciting to see, particularly once you have worked. How many more years do we have this for?
We're kind of like a year by year at this point.
Is it a
Yeah.
year?
Yeah.
Okay, well, the reason why I'm asking is because you clearly improved it as we've gone along, and improved or asked questions and looked for answers on why the numbers are coming up the way they are. You'd almost expect with the description that you all provided and the success of the program that some of these kids are catapulting up into tier 2 and maybe, questions? Okay, with that, I'm going to have a smile on my face probably the rest of the evening because of particularly the guitar. I'm going to the guitar. And the structure is just wonderful. To engage families and to get them tied into the school, it's exactly what we want to see. And I know schools and teachers put a lot of effort into that. And so you've got an avenue there. It's pretty exciting. But you will want to collect those fly swatters, otherwise these guys will probably use them. Thank you so much for your presentation. Oh, what discussion?
I'll sell you mine.
You need to